Hi, everybody. It's Sarah, the founder and executive director at Live Like Roof Foundation. If you see me on the screen, you know that we're going to be raising money for some kind of animal. This is really important. We have hundreds of applicants right now, and the donations unfortunately have slowed with this crazy economy. So we are going to work on raising funds for Emily and Riona today. Emily, thank you, number one, for joining me, and I really appreciate it. Reading your application, which again we do read every application, and we pretty much wait for people's medical records and estimates and bills to come in. And Emily had that all together, thankfully. But Emily, ironically, is a vet tech for an oncologist, so she's in the field. She knows what we do. Thankfully, somebody told her about us, and I really would love to raise funds for them today. But Emily, can you start by just kind of sharing the story about how you and Riona met?
Yeah, definitely. I love telling this story. Um, my daughter was about a year old, and our previous pet had passed away, and we'd been a couple months just kind of by ourselves in the apartment. And I've lived with dogs my whole life, and it just felt really quiet. So we took a whole weekend, and we went to all the shelters and rescues in the city of Memphis that we could find. And we looked at a bunch of dogs, and nobody really stuck out to us. So we went to our city shelter, which is Memphis Animal Services. They're always overcrowded. So I love adopting dogs from there. So we went. We had a few that we wanted to look at. We pulled them all out and met them, and nobody really clicked. So um, her name was Rue at the shelter, ironically enough. We walked by Rue's cage. She was our last one, and she wasn't in there. And so I called the attendant over, and I was like, has she been adopted? Was she sick? And he said, oh, she's being spayed right now, but she just came out of surgery, so she'll be back in a little bit. You guys can't meet her because she's been under anesthesia, but you can make an appointment and come back. So we walked around a little bit until she came back to her kennel, and I snapped that picture actually right as they brought her back. And we walked up, and dog lovers don't know what I'm talking about, but when we were looking at her, I just knew she was meant to be ours. But I wanted to meet her first. I have my daughter was one, so I wanted to make sure there was a dog that would be okay with a small child. So we walked up to the receptionist, and I let her know. I was like, hey, can I make an appointment for tomorrow? I want to come back and let my daughter meet this dog, Rue, that I'm interested in. And she said, why don't you want to adopt her today? And I said, well, I want to make sure she's good with kids. And she said, well, actually, I had my 4-year-old up here multiple times over the last couple of weeks. And Rue was one of the best dogs with her. She's very sweet, very patient, very kind. And I said, are you sure? Because I'll have to bring her back if she tries to bite my daughter. And she said, I'm absolutely sure. And she said, usually we don't let people take them home the day that they're spayed or neutered, but let me go talk to my manager. So she got up and went and talked to her and came back and said, are you sure you don't want to take her home today? They were closing in about an hour, so I was like, oh, I gotta go get like a bowl and collar and leash. So I did. I went and got it. I came back, and there was 5 minutes to spare. But all the staff was so happy that I was taking her home. They loved her so much that they brought her out for me, and I took her home that day. Um, it took her about 2 or 3 weeks to kind of warm up to us, and you could definitely tell that she had been abused. They estimated her to be about 4 years old. She she was coughing a lot. I was going to take her to the vet. I worked at a vet clinic. I took her in, and I already knew she was heartworm positive. But at the time, MAS had a grant to pay for heartworm treatment, so that was covered for me. 3 weeks after we got her, she coughed up a heartworm. It was kind of scary and very gross. And I took her in for x-rays, and the doctor put her hand on my shoulder and said, Emily, it's not good. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's not good. She said, it's going to be really dangerous for her to finish the treatment out. But, don't really have a choice. And I said, well, if I lose her, I lose her, but we've got to try. So we gave her the treatment, and I very strictly kennel rested her for 10 weeks, which is over the required kennel rest. And she made it against the odds. And for the last 2.5 years, she has been absolutely perfect. Um, she sleeps in the bed with me. She sleeps in the bed with my daughter. She plays with my daughter. My daughter has jumped on her head with a full poopy diaper, and she is just the calmest, sweetest thing about it. She never complains. Everyone loves her. Everywhere we go, people say, "Oh my gosh, I love her. Bring her back." I'm under strict orders that every time I go to Hollywood Feed, I have to bring her with me. Um, and so everything was great. She's been perfectly healthy this whole time. She miraculously has only the slightest cough when she gets really worked up from her heartworm disease until Christmas, actually, of last year. I worked at the local ER and specialty vet, so I had one of the vets aspirate a lump I found that was getting bigger pretty fast. I just thought like a lipoma or cyst or something. And Christmas Day, I went into the ER at 8 p.m. to work my 14-hour shift. And I happened to be doing some blood work at like 2 a.m., so the day after Christmas. And I happened to be sitting at the lab computer and saw that her cytology was back. So I pulled it up and, the words lymphoma jumped off the page. She's only 6.5, so I was really shocked. All the vets were really shocked. It's never, they never like it when one of their techs especially has a dog that's sick, but lymphoma is not a nice one to have. So I cried the rest of my shift and nobody talked to me except to like pat me on the shoulder. And I just so happened to, about a week or two after that, get a job offer to work for the local oncology practice at Bluff City veterinary specialist for Dr. Mishner. So I took it. Not just because of my dog, for a lot of other reasons too, but it's definitely very fortunate. And, I feel like God sent that to me right when I needed it. And Dr. Mishner has been incredible. She's a lovely woman. When I took her in my second day of work, because I told her, I was like, my dog has lymphoma, do you mind if I bring her? And she was like, absolutely, just bring her tomorrow. I don't care how busy we are. We'll see her first thing. So I brought her in and she said, so what medications is she on? How much prednisone are you giving? And I said, she's not. I didn't want to start anything until I saw you. And I will never forget, she laid a hand on my shoulder and she said, Emily, she should be dead. She said, dogs with lymphoma don't go without medication for not even a week. Like, they're usually dead. And she's like, you're already on top. Riona has not had any symptoms until about the last week and a half. She has gone a very miraculous 10 weeks with literally no symptoms of lymphoma except some tiredness and lethargy. And all she's been on are some like Chinese herbal supplements. So I've been very blessed to have those extra weeks with her. Dr. Mishner, she was like, I don't have any explanation for you. Like, this shouldn't be happening. Your dog should be really sick, if not in the ground already. So I'm really grateful to have her. I wasn't even going to try to even think about chemo because I definitely can't afford it. But one of my clients at work brought his dog in and rang the bell. So I got to be with him when he found out his dog was in remission, and they rang the bell. And I just so happened to hear him talk about the Live Like Rue Foundation. And I just thought it was so funny that her name had been Rue at the shelter. So I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it. Like, there's no way that we would get picked. But, if she's going to fight that hard to stay with us and beat all of the odds against heartworms and the Memphis streets and lymphoma, then I should try too, because she clearly wants to stay with us. And I love her so much. You're not supposed to have favorites, but she's my favorite. Sometimes my favorite over the human child. So I love Riona. Everyone that meets her loves her. Hey, kid. And we've been devastated. Lymphoma is not pretty, and I'm just not ready to let go.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's one of the toughest ones we deal with because you realize it because you're in the field, but people that hear that word for the first time have no idea how rough it is. She's so sweet. So I think it was Dustin and Presley who rang the bell. You probably saw.
Yeah, Presley me.
their story. Everybody met them on Giving Tuesday. Actually, I think we did a follow up with them on Giving Tuesday. So a lot of people that follow Live Like Rue know them well, and that moment of the bell ring was just amazing. It was
It really was.
seeing the
I don't think
pictures.
Mr. Minks ever smiled that big.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's amazing. And not to, pile on everything else, but part of your application, spoke about your past and, a survivor of domestic abuse and all of that. I just wanted to bring that up. Like, I'm really, really sorry about that. And I know, a lot of times your dog and obviously your daughter are what you have. They're what you have now to get through those moments of toughness.
Yeah, definitely. I probably couldn't count on my fingers and toes how many times I've been having like a panic attack or a PTSD episode, and Riona's always been there for me. Yeah, that's a big part of it. I was telling my friends the other day, I was like, I should probably get back in therapy because I don't know how I'm gonna handle it when she passes. Because she's taught me how to be a mom. She's been my therapist sometimes, and she's been there with me through it all. She's very emotionally intuitive, so when I'm upset, she likes to come cuddle with me. She steals my spot in the bed, but that's okay. And I just don't know what I'm going to do without her.
Well, we're going to give you a shot. We're going to pay for all the chemo for you.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. So let's do this.
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate it. And so does Riona.
Yeah.
She has fought so hard to be here with us. And I've got to at least try.
And we got you. She's a Rue dog now. You're part of the Rue family. So let's do this, all right?
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, please book it and we'll pay the bills. Everybody listening, please donate for Riona. As you know, we've got hundreds of people waiting. So the least that we can do is at least help them out, help us to help them. So we love you, Emily. Please keep us posted. You guys are our family now.
Thank you guys so much. That means so much to me. I can't even say. And I can't wait to tell my daughter.
Yes, please film her reaction because I want to see her. She's the cutest.
I will. The other day she said to me, oh my God, I cried so hard. She said, Mommy, I want to buy some new cars. And I was like, what? She's 3 now. I was like, what, baby? And she said, I want to buy some new cars. And I said, new cars to drive? What's wrong with our car? And she said, I want to drive Riona to the hospital to get medicine so she won't have germs in her body anymore. And I said, well, baby, that's not really how it works. And she said, Mommy, I want you and Nona, that's what she calls her, to be safe. And she said, I don't want you to cry because Nona's going to be dead. She's 3, but she understands a lot more than I thought she would. And she's going to be really happy when I tell her that we can get medicine now for Riona.
Yeah. Yes. Good. I love that. Live like Riona.
Yeah.
Rue. So it all comes full circle. Your story touched us, Emily. Thank you so much. We're here for you. Just be in touch with me through email.
I definitely will.
We got this. We love you. All right. Take care.
I love you guys too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
I can't believe it. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We love her. I love your story. We definitely read every act. It's just proof that we read them. So.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Oh my God. I'm crying like a baby.